Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to XRP. That's XPAL Roleplay or XPAL Radio Play, depending on your preference. I am your host for this 2-month period, James Phoenix, and this is episode 2 of Star Trek: The Optimum Syndicate. Fair enough.
Sparkle.
I thought there was going to be spontaneous singing there. Apparently that playing got nixed. Fair enough.
There was spontaneous not singing.
That was
Evidently.
a joke.
I know, but I thought it would still be hilarious. Anyway, yes, this is episode 2. For those of you who are unaware, we did not have an episode last week. There was a lot going on last week, combination of factors, not the least of which was the fact that this show involves a lot of shooting and killing, and there were attacks in Paris just over a week ago, and it seemed like it would be a bad taste to do this. So that, among other factors of availability, led us to decide not to have an episode last week. Therefore, we're going to do 2 episodes tonight. The episode we're about to do, episode 2, which is entitled The Frozen Light, Part 1, and the next episode, which will be immediately following this one after a short 10 to 15 minute break, which will be The Frozen Light, Part 2.
Nice. I was happy you could be here to show us the light.
Indeed. Well, somebody has to show us the light. For the majority of this, we will not have Marcus Shadow. However, he will be popping in at the end of the next episode, so listen for that.
See, his light will be unfrozen at the end of the 2 episodes.
Precisely. The title has multiple layers of meaning. It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, dunked in a conundrum.
I want donuts now.
Wrote on a napkin.
Wrote on a napkin, and I also want a donut now, but I'll get donuts later. Moving on.
Well, you said Duncan, so, you know.
That's true. But yes, we're going to go ahead and start this episode. And like I said, this episode will lead into the next episode. It is a 2-parter, so stay tuned for the whole thing. And let's go ahead and give this a whirl. Oh, by the way, joining me, of course, I should probably introduce everybody, the cast that are present today. We have the effective third in command of the vessel, what with Commander Zhao somewhat indisposed. Lieutenant Junior Grade Jax, played by Chris the Mole.
Hello.
We have Communications Officer and Helmsman, Cadet Roger McClinton, played by Richter Hammer, the best one.
Hello. The best one.
He is the best one. And of course, yeah. And joining us newly from the past, of course, our acting Chief Medical Officer, Nurse, Assistant to the Emergency Medical Hologram, Nurse Nora Needlam, played by Anastasia Laserbeam Pew Pew.
Like I
exist. Boom.
Darling.
Like I exist. Boom.
Yeah, that reminds me, like, vote in the comments if you'd like to see our good friend Simon appear in this radio play as someone fabulous.
How many times can we vote?
You can vote until you receive the number Q.
Done.
You can vote Q amount of times.
Okay. So, we're going to go ahead and start this off, and...
It's space. Ooh.
Pretty much.
The scene opens up aboard the ship.
Obviously.
Well, someone had to start it. You weren't going to.
I was going to. Alright. Here we go, folks. Frozen Light Part 1. Enjoy. Captain's Log. Stardate 60171.5. It's been 3 days since our encounter at the secret Cardassian base where we intervened in a meeting with the Breen. We escaped with a data module that Commander Zhao has been attempting to decode. In the intervening time, I received a priority communique from Starfleet Command questioning our whereabouts and our lack of reporting in regarding the testing of the Holocloak. When I attempted to speak to the Admiral regarding our situation, he was not pleased, and we were told to disengage and return to our headquarters and forget what we were dealing with. Naturally, I found these orders suspicious, and I have chosen to pursue a course to determine the extent of any potential threat to the Federation. This may put the ship and my crew in jeopardy, but I believe they know that it's the right thing to do. On a side note, our new passenger, Nora Needlam, has started to come around to the situation of being trapped 300 years in the future. It appears that she was a nurse studying to be a full doctor back during her time. While medicine has advanced dramatically, it would be of any benefit to have a medical officer available of some kind. I've replicated some med kits using supplies from her time frame that she could use to patch minor wounds and assist with any minor maladies that might come up on away missions, long enough to get back to the emergency medical hologram. Bradford finishes his captain's log and steps out of the ready room onto the bridge.
Yo, I still do not get that stardate thing. Stardate, blah, 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 numbers and things. Like, can we just say, yo, this is the month, date, year? That's, like, fucking weird.
The reason we use stardates, Miss Needham, is because there are many planets and peoples within the Federation, and not all planets have to put it simply, the days and months and years on the planet are not the same length as they are on Earth for all other planets because of different rotations and orbits around their respective stars. So saying a month or year for us could be, inaccurate for another planet that might have 13 or 14 or 15 months and might have a 36-hour day.
Yeah, but you're talking to the Federation, aren't they like humans or something? So you're just telling a bunch of other humans a date they already know.
The United Federation.
I'm not human.
Oh, is that it? Oh, you're the Federation people too? Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was just a bunch of humans, and then we have sub organization people they work with, but they're not actually part of it.
Well, the United Federation of Planets itself was a group of planets of which Earth was a founding member that got together and created a union for mutual benefit. That includes Earth, Vulcan, and Andoria, and several others. And several others. However, we also have additional groups that the Federation as a whole is affiliated with, but that are not themselves members of the Federation, including the Klingon Empire and, of course, the Gorn Hegemony.
I'm so sorry for my racism, my alligator friend. And what are you again? I totally forget.
Gorn.
Okay, is that your name too, or no? Sorry, that's your name is Jax. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm being horribly racist. I apologize.
Name Jax. Race Gorn. Mood
I'm
pissed
super
off
sorry.
with your questions.
I'm trying not to be racist. Or yes, I'm sorry.
Easy, Jack. She doesn't know any better.
I'm really trying to get used to this whole hey, all this stuff exists now. Please don't eat me. I'd be really well. Supposedly, according to Mansers, which you'd probably know nothing about, I'd be salty and taste unpleasant. If I was Japanese, supposedly, or Asian, like the other officer who's not here, he would probably taste a lot better. But that's just Mansers. Who knows if that's actually based on any data or it's just for TV, entertainment.
Well, I think we can all agree we don't want any Asians on this ship.
At any rate, as you may or may not be aware, yesterday I received a priority communique from Starfleet Command questioning the whereabouts of this ship. If you're not aware, Ms. Needham, we were supposed to be testing a new piece of technology that the ship has, basically a hologram cloak that can make the ship look like other ships, effectively.
Ooh.
It's kind of cool. But we've stumbled across the situation that led us to finding you. A group of races that are not allied with the Federation apparently are allying with each other, presumably to oppose us, and naturally being a security threat to us and our allies, I felt the need to investigate. For some reason, Starfleet Command disagrees and has told me to disengage this entire investigation. I find those orders
That sounds suspicious.
Precisely. Some things never change, even over 400 years. One of them being political and military secrecy. Therefore, I have chosen to continue this course of action because I believe that there is truly a threat to the Federation here, and if someone within the Federation itself is trying to cover it up, this could go higher than we thought. Then again, it might just be that they don't want to believe that there's another war looming on the horizon. We've already dealt with the Dominion War. Who knows what else? There's a lot of things in the historical banks that I'm not going to bring up right now. At any rate, we're going to continue this course of action to determine the extent of any threat to the Federation and put a stop to it. If the plan pans out, we'll all be given commendations and possibly promotions. If it doesn't, well, who knows? Miss Needham, you're in the best position because obviously as an unofficial member of this crew, you're really not subject to any kind of Starfleet regulation whatsoever, so you're basically in the clear.
Yeah, so just any shit that you do that's illegal, say I did it. I don't mind. I mean, what they gonna do? Put me back in a fridge for so many hundred years? Like,
Yeah. Effectively, given where we found you, we're not even sure when you're from Earth, so theoretically you'd fall under Federation purview. But given where we found you, there's a lot of legal and technical issues that are going to be brought up. I'm sure if the Union finds out about you, they're going to wonder what you were doing in their space, also. And I mean, not the ones we were shooting at. That's one sect of them that don't like us. Most of those race known as the Cardassians are actually our friends. So
I wonder if my sister's kids, like, eventually had kids, who eventually had kids, who eventually had kids, are back on Earth somewhere. That'd be crazy. I'd be like their great aunt or something.
That's actually not the first time that sort of thing has happened. A few decades ago, the Enterprise D, a ship that's no longer in commission, stumbled across some other cryogenic tubes with a few people in them. One of whom, upon investigation, was a woman herself who found out that she did in fact have some. She had children before she was frozen and found out that she had living descendants on Earth. So anything is possible. We have gotten significantly more advanced in genetic tracing, so we can much more easily trace genealogy back to determine lineage. So once we get back to Earth, whenever all this mess is over, we could certainly find out.
I don't know. Who would ever date my sister? I mean, she's a bum anyway, so it probably didn't work out for her. Which is probably best for future generations, but who knows?
Well, it's your call. If you'd like to look at it when we get back, that's your decision. But for right now, we have more important things to worry about.
Alright.
I will say this officially for the record of the vessel. As of right now, we have gone rogue.
Oh snap! We're like pirates or something.
Not exactly. We're still going to operate on the tenets of the Federation, but we are operating without orders, and chances are, if we don't report back again, Starfleet will most likely send someone to get us if they can find us. What they forget is we have an experimental holocloak, and they don't.
Since we're rogue, can I eat her now?
Space pirates! Oh, this is just like Firefly, which I've heard is really good, but I never checked out because I was too busy studying. Oh, that's just so nice. I don't have to read a bajillion papers and do homework, and I'm just really enjoying not doing homework and papers and studying. That's just super great.
Understandable.
That was like my entire life.
Yeah. Which I was saying, although of course, assuming you get back to Earth, you should attempt to locate a profession, whether that's to continue pursuing a medical degree in modern medicine if you catch up is up to you. But in this day and age, we really don't have a need for money or anything within the Federation. The purpose of living now is to enhance oneself and see how far oneself can go. So your choices are almost limitless in the Federation.
I'd probably stick with what I know, which is patching people up.
There's always a good need for doctors at Starfleet Medical. I'm sure they'd be happy to take you on.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, beep, beep. That's what I'm waiting for. Bradford walks over to a panel on the side of the bridge and reviews some data on a screen. Good. It looks like Zhao has cracked the data on those chips. It seems. Yeah, the Cardassians and the Breen were definitely having a meeting, and it sounds like they were expecting some other races, though it doesn't specify whom. This could be a larger threat than we initially thought. There could be additional races plotting against us, but I don't know who. Unfortunately, it looks like a lot of the data was scrambled before we were able to get a hold of it. Once they realized we were there, there's not much beyond that available. That's a dead end. All right. We've only got one course of action here at this point. The only lead we have is the original signal we picked up coming from near the Bajoran sector that led us on this goose chase in the first place. I'd say our only option right now is to backtrack that signal and find out who sent it to see what else they might know. Jax, see if you can patch in the frequency of that little-known frequency of the original signal that Cadet McClinton picked up and see if we can backtrack it to... You know, McClinton, you're sitting there. Why don't you just do it? You already have the communications console. See if we can backtrack that signal to find out precisely where it came from. If you can get us some coordinates, lay in a course, and let's get over there.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
Also, Jax, you could drop the hollow cloak. We're not going to be able to warp with it on.
Roger that, sir.
The crew commences their duties, and before long, McClinton has located the appropriate coordinates that are just outside the Bajoran sector within the area known as the Badlands.
I found the coordinates, sir.
The Badlands. Alright, I think I have an idea who we might be running into for this, and it makes sense. Lay in a course and engage.
Badlands, wow.
Yes, sir. Plotting a course.
Let's
Not
just
so
let,
well.
let, let's let's just say, Miss Needlem, the Badlands are not exactly the best place. It's an area between the space controlled by a portion of the space controlled by our Federation and a portion that formerly that is controlled by the Cardassian Union, but they were not allied with us all that long ago, and there were quite a few scuffles along that area. It was a
Yo, what? Did you say the Kardashians are part of space? That's crazy.
Cardassians. They were the race. They controlled the base that we found you in.
Okay, because I was hoping there wasn't a whole federation based on some girl who made a sex tape. That would be horrible for space and technology and stuff. Cool. So
I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'm just going to move on.
it's a celebrity that's stupid, and I'm glad died, and I'm so glad that all these stupid celebrities died a million years ago. That's one thing about the future. All those people are dead now.
Right then. At any rate, the area of the Badlands was known for a lot of minor scuffles between the Cardassian forces and those of the planet Bajor. Once upon a time, the Cardassians effectively conquered Bajor and held it prisoner for about 50 years before the Bajorans managed to rebel and throw them off. After doing so, the Bajorans joined the Federation, which is why we are allied in that part of space now. The Cardassians joined us later after they picked the wrong side of the Dominion War, but the Badlands are still a area of marauders, thieves, criminals, and who knows what else. It's a hard-to-track system. We better be prepared heading in. Mr. Jackson, engage the shields. We should be prepared for anything as we go in.
Roger. Shield lowered.
Be jolly, Roger.
Very funny, Mr. Jackson. I said raise the shield.
Fine. The shields have been raised.
Normally I'd complain about that, but in this kind of situation, we could use a little levity. As the ship continues on its way, the ship enters the Badlands area and tracks the signal to a small base hidden in an asteroid within the Badlands. When the ship arrives and takes orbit around the asteroid to the best of its ability. Well, it seems that there's a... Yeah, that's what I thought. Bradford reads some signals on a console near his chair. A base built into an asteroid, nearly invisible to most sensors. The only reason we're able to find it is because, well, we've had to find them before. We're about to encounter a group known as the Maquis. They were rebels who effectively didn't think the Federation was doing enough against the Cardassians back during the time before they allied themselves with us. When the Cardassians joined us, a lot of that went away, but some of the Maquis believed that there was still a Cardassian threat and have still caused problems for both sides of the border. If the Maquis sent the signal, it makes entire sense why they wouldn't trust anyone at Deep Space Nine or the nearby Federation outpost to decode it. They don't trust the Federation if they find them any more than if the Cardassians find them. Particularly if the True Way is involved, that's the worst case scenario for the Maquis, for the Cardassian to go back to the way it used to be. Most of the Maquis are Bajorans who survived the occupation, you see. They remember the horrors that were... You don't want to know what the Cardassians did.
So, basically, Kardashians, good. Marquis, bad. Get them. Right?
The Maquis are bad in a sense, but not... The Maquis are bad, but they are not as bad as some of the other enemies we have faced. Sometimes we'll be able to work with the Maquis. They're just stubborn. I would say... If I were to compare something from your time, think of the enemies that we've been encountering this so far. The True Way branch of the Cardassians and the Breen. Think of them like terrorist groups, whereas the Maquis are more like a street gang.
Oh, cool. Street gang.
Something like that. Basically, they don't like the rules and they kind of do their own thing, and they kind of annoy people on all the sides, but they're not necessarily as big a threat as other, they don't directly try to attack us unless we provoke them, basically.
So maybe we can negotiate with them. Maybe they're not go guns blazing.
At this point in time, it's...
I get a sense that something too soon has happened.
So, well, we're here, And it looks like they don't have any shielding on this base, at least at the moment. Understandable, shields are hard to keep up in this type of atmosphere here in the Badlands. Luckily, the ship has enough power to maintain ours. Clearly, the generators on the base are not the best in the world, which makes sense given that the Maquis are not exactly known to have the best technology. They scavenge whatever they can find from whoever they can get it from.
Assuming they're still alive, sir.
A valid point. If they sent that signal and got caught, they might not even be down there. At any rate, I suggest we beam down and see what's going on. I'm going to program a remote control to this wrist device so that I can beam us back from remotely rather than having to leave someone up here. That way we can all go see what's going on. There's strength in numbers.
What's beaming?
Effectively, we stand in one place and the machine basically turns you into molecules and then reassembles you at the other place so that you can basically go from one place to another instantaneously.
Whoa, like teleportation? That's pretty sweet.
It's basically teleportation, yes. We call it transportation. Transportation as opposed to teleportation, but it's effectively the same concept, yes.
Yeah, I believe in your time they called it, what was it that I read about? They called it #fun travel.
Does that mean like there's no cars like at all? Because that would be pretty crazy. Like,
well, no. I mean, transporting is useful for long distances, but even for short distances, some people still use some minor ground transport vehicles now and again. Although they don't run on fossil fuels anymore, they're much more efficient now. And the ship also has shuttlecraft that can go down to a planet manually if necessary due to interference with transporters and what have you.
if you got like a bug trapped in the teleporter with you, what would happen? Like, you wouldn't like turn into a bug person, because that was like a thing in a movie.
What? That can happen?
I don't know.
Relax, cadet. That can't happen. The transporters work specifically based on the DNA of the beings inside. If it detected multiple strands of DNA, it would separate them out upon reassembly.
Oh, that's cool. So you can teleport like multiple people.
Precisely, and for multiple people, even from multiple locations to one location. And like I said, effectively, what the transporter does is it breaks down your signal to
I got it. You one place into another. Cool.
Yeah, it maintains each person's individuality. However,
good. I was worried I'd be ugly like you humans.
Oh, I think you're pretty.
I am.
I think she's trying to suck up so you don't eat her.
Oh, not at all. Look how like I wish my skin reflected light, all scaly and stuff. You know, I'm just boring. You know. I'm kind of pale because I don't go outside. And
it's
probably
okay.
not the best for combat environments.
It's okay. I believe in your time they said some guys liked the woman with junk in the trunk.
Some guys. Nah.
Well, I'm glad to see the crew's at least getting along. Let's get down to the transport room and beam down to the base and see what's going on.
Whoa, you want me to like go with you and go to the teleporter thingy?
If you don't want to, you can remain here, but given that you have medical expertise, something most of us lack aside from the basics given at Starfleet Academy, even if it's outdated medicine, it could be beneficial, particularly if the Maquis down there turned out to be hostile.
Okay, I think I could do it. I mean, it's good to have a field test. See if I remember anything. My brain retained itself after 300, 400 years, whatever.
It's a good idea. The three of us are combat trained. As long as you stand behind us, you shouldn't take any direct fire.
Do you have a kit from even remotely close to the stuff we use in our time?
Yes, actually. Bradford walks across the room and opens a small compartment on the side of the bridge and takes out a small case. When we thawed you out, I thought this might be useful, so I had Commander Zhao replicate some med kits that use supplies that are from your general era. You should know what most of them are, so that should give you an ability to at least work within means to heal any wounds or potential maladies that might come up. And we have, as you saw, a hologram that can handle advanced modern medicine as long as we can get somebody injured back to the ship, so you shouldn't need to do anything incredibly high-tech as long as the ship's within range.
Yeah, he really hated me, so I'd rather not be around because I don't want some hologram to like attack me or something.
Number one, he hates everyone. Don't take it personally. Number two, the hologram is specifically programmed only to within its parameters, and that is to perform medical tests on people. It might be a bit rude and arrogant. You can thank its creator for that, but it won't hurt anybody.
Okay. Yeah, looks super usable. Thank you. I'd hate to feel, useless, like I can't contribute in any way.
Well, as you might have noticed, we have very few people on board this vessel. Normally, a vessel of this size would have approximately 40 crew members. But because this is only supposed to be a brief voyage to test an experimental technology, and then we were supposed to immediately return, we were given this skeleton crew. Why this skeleton crew, I don't know. I was only following the orders we were given, but
Hey, you found me. I'm not complaining.
yes, let's just say that this wasn't all supposed to go down as it is, and having a doctor is going to probably be a little useful. The crew. All right. Computer, engage autopilot, maintain orbit around the asteroid, transfer transporter control to my wrist tricorder.
I'll have to say, Jax, I'd love to do a physical on you later, just so I can establish like a baseline for your fit of health, so that I know when something goes wrong, what's like exactly supposed to be different. So that'd be anytime you're free.
I'm sorry, Pat, but you're really not my type.
Jasmine, this is not like a sexual thing. I just want to know, like, this is what you're supposed to be, and then when you get injured or hurt or possibly diseased, that is not what you're supposed to be. Separate how you're supposed to be, healthy wise, like healthy default, healthy template, as opposed to not, whenever you have like the free time. Not obviously now, but in the future, if I was going to be fully useful.
All the women want the gun.
Ms. Needham, don't worry. As part of standard Starfleet procedure, all Starfleet personnel have full medical records available within the main computer database, and we keep those primary records up to date with periodic physicals so that everyone has a baseline from which to determine potential maladies.
There you go.
When you're dealing with as many maladies as we deal with and as many different races that can have different problems and different physiologies, it's important to be able to know exactly who's dealing with what.
You see, future people think of everything.
Well, we're not perfect, but we try.
Again, it was seriously nothing personal. I just wanted to, I'd feel super bad if you were, injured or dying or something, and I specifically did something that was supposed to aid you and then ended up hurting you further. So I'd feel really bad about it.
Don't worry, I'm sure if you hurt him, he's going to let you know about it.
I know, but I'd still feel bad.
I'm pretty sure you'd feel pain. Trust me, one person I can give, you don't want to anger Gorn.
It's cool. I was quite complimented by you coming on to me.
Not exactly what it was, but sure.
As much as I enjoy this banter, we have a Maquis base to check out, and for all we know, Maquis vessels could start shooting at us at any minute. I suggest we head down there.
Has all stuff gone to your wrist thing?
Wait, wrist thing?
Bradford shows a device he has strapped to his wrist. This is effectively a handheld control for the transporters. Given that we're all going to be on the planet, we're going to need to be able to get back up here.
Okay, got it. It does a thing, makes us go down, and
yeah, it allows me to control things up here so I can bring us back, basically.
Hoofinator, got it.
Basically. The crew leaves the bridge, takes the turbo lift down to the transporter room, and steps on the pad as Bradford types some coordinates into the pad and makes sure that his wrist device is synchronized. His wrist tricorder is synchronized with the transporter control panel. All right, this should beam us down in approximately 5 seconds, and I have full control to beam us back whenever we are ready, as long as nothing interferes with the transporter signal, which out here we should be okay. We're close enough to the base that even the atmosphere out there shouldn't cause a problem. 3, 2, 1, energize. The team dematerializes from the pad and materializes inside the Maquis base in a dull room that is currently vacant but appears to be some type of a meeting room. There's a table in the center and some consoles around. Huh. Well,
that definitely takes some getting used to.
Yeah, it's slightly unusual. Even today there are some people who don't feel entirely comfortable with the transporters and insist on using shuttlecraft. So it's not entirely unusual if you do feel that way.
Yeah, it's just weird. Obviously, I've never been teleported before.
Yeah, transporting can be highly unusual. You'll get accustomed to that.
Speaking of, how are you hanging in, Cadet?
I'm okay. I'm still nervous. We're rogue now. But I'm okay. I got this. I got this, sir.
You're looking
Just
a
think,
little sickly. You're looking greener than I do.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
just think it's exciting. You're like a pirate. We're like pirates.
Oh.
Bradford puts a hand on the cadet's shoulder. Don't worry, cadet. We're rogue only for the moment. If this pans out, the Federation is going to welcome us back with open arms. And we're not abandoning the tenets of the Federation by any means. We are still, as far as I'm concerned, a Starfleet vessel. We're just acting on our own orders rather than orders from command.
Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
Good. He pats the cadet on the back and turns around to head toward the door of the room. Let's see if anybody's home. There's power to the station, which leads me to believe that if somebody's not here, they had to have been here relatively recently.
Maybe they just left the lights on so no one would burgle them.
Now, trust me, if somebody wanted to burgle them, having lights on wasn't going to stop them.
That is true, but why do people always do that?
I don't know. I can't speak for your race or any others, but I know it's an old Earth custom was the belief that it would cause someone to think that somebody was there, and that would for some reason prevent them from wanting to break in if you're getting caught or something. But when they could simply injure or incapacitate the resident, it doesn't make any sense.
Shall we knock?
We're already here. The group heads down the hallway, examining the base. Alright, let's see what's going on here. As the team heads down the hallway, Bradford begins examining Bradford begins examining the structure of the base, determining which rooms are which, and trying to map it on his wrist-mounted tricorder to get an idea of where they've been, so they don't get lost.
Something amiss, Captain?
No, Maquis bases can have a wide. Maquis bases are basically whatever they can come up with. They're dealing with whatever they have handy and wherever they can manage to hide out. So it's not unusual for everything they do to be completely different. There's very little structure in what they use.
Jax leans in and whispers into the cadet's ears.
Did you hear that, Rocky? Every corner something could be trying to kill you.
Jax.
Yes, sir.
Jax
What? Don't scare him. He's already like shaky.
Well, if I don't scare him, what else am I gonna do? I have
don't-
very few things that I enjoy. Painting and scaring him.
Oh, you enjoy painting? That's so sweet. I'd love to see some of your paintings.
No.
No. What are they, like, secret? Oh, come on. You gotta show me at least one.
Maybe later.
Oh, obviously not now, in the middle of this, like, whatever we're doing.
Bradford leans over to Needle. Don't take it personally. His painting is a very personal thing he uses to express himself. He doesn't share it with just everybody. The team rounds a corner when all of a sudden phaser beams start firing from around the corner. Oh, hey, you had to say that, didn't you, Lieutenant?
Yay. Fun.
Bradford pulls out a phaser as Jackson and the cadet come behind him, and they begin firing at the Maquis, who appear to be several Bajorans and a human. Now, we're not here to take you in. Yeah, like I'm going to believe that, Starfleet. Most of the Maquis might have given in when the Cardassians supposedly joined the Khitomer Accords, but we know what they truly are. We're not going to let them continue to threaten. We're not going to let them threaten Bajor ever again. No, I understand what you're saying. Pew, pew, pew.
Nora gets behind cover.
Good idea. I understand. Look, the majority of the Cardassians have taken our side, but we understand what you're saying. Some of them are still there. The true way, they're out there. We intercepted your signal. We found their meeting. Pew. Wait, what? Hold your fire. Guys, hold your fire.
No weapons here.
Everyone stops firing, and Bradford walks up to the leader of the Maquis. I'm Captain Charles Bradford of the Federation vessel Conquest. We intercepted your signal that you sent out, warning of the potential Cardassian plot. It looks like you were right. We followed the signals you picked up to a base where it looked like they were planning a meeting with the Breen. The Breen. Yeah. Doesn't surprise me the True Way were allied with the Breen in the Dominion War. Wouldn't surprise me that'd be the first group they'd go to again if they wanted to start something up. So you believe us? Yes. As of right now, I'm ignoring Admiral's orders to return to Starfleet. Our vessel's only supposed to be on a test run for some experimental technology. Unfortunately for them, I'm Captain Bradford. They know my reputation. I'm not the kind to let something like this go uninvestigated. We stole some data chips from the base, but we weren't able to get much more out of it, except that they were planning on meeting with the Breen and several other races that were unidentified. We're hoping you might have some more information so we can pursue this further. Well, we might have something. I'm Graham. Graham Key. Pleased to meet you, Graham. Charles Bradford. This is my crew, Lieutenant Jax, Chief of Security.
Pleasure to meet you.
This is Cadet McClinton, my helmsman and communications officer, and this is Nurse Needham. We're running on a bare skeleton crew. We weren't intending to go into something like this.
Yo.
My first officer, Commander Zhao, is still on board the ship. He was working on some additional problems when we beamed down, but I'll signal him to beam down momentarily. He's our chief engineer. Understood. Come on over here. We have some information that might be useful. We thought it wouldn't just be that we weren't sure who the True Way were meeting with, but we knew if they were planning something, it wasn't going to be good. The Cardi scum. They're never going to leave us alone. Hey, I understand your bias. I know about the occupation. Believe me, I fought in the Dominion War. I know what was going on, but not all the Cardassians are that way anymore. A lot of them have realized that that way of life only practically doomed their planet when the Dominion abandoned them. They understand how wrong it was. There's going to be a few holdouts that rebel against all the powers that are out there either way, such as yourselves against us, for example. Normally, I'd punch someone who compared us to the True Way, but your comparison is apt. Thank you. Now, what have you got? Well, the signals we picked up, some of them were coming from Cardassian space. The area where True Way operatives have been known to congregate and have meetings, such as that base you tracked one to, makes sense. Other signals have been coming from areas outside of our sensor range, unfortunately. I'm not surprised to hear about the Breen. Some of the signals were headed generally toward their area of space. Let's see. Oh, here, this might be useful to you. One of the True Way signals we picked up indicates that a freighter is on its way to a Breen space to partake in a meeting. It sounds like they rescheduled one that was interfered with. I suppose that was you. Wouldn't surprise me. We got there and it looks like they had the place outfitted for Breen. If Breen took their suits off, I guess True Way intel's a little out of date on that. But yeah, it would make sense if they didn't trust the Cardassian space to be safe, given the Federation has free run of it at this point. It does make sense they'd reschedule to an area that we wouldn't be likely to interfere. Right. Looks like a freighter is transporting... well, they say they're bringing freight, but I doubt that. I guarantee you it's True Way members on their way for the supposed meeting.
Psst, watch the Breen. She slowly whispers to the cadet.
At any rate, if they're meeting with the Breen, you may want to go investigate. That's probably going to be your best bet. Mr. Key checks in with some of the other people in his room, briefly discussing some options, then comes back over to the crew. We've done a few scans of your ship. Looks like it's in rough shape. Sounds like they really didn't have a whole lot of plans for you out here. Not particularly, no. Well, We've got a few things we've scavenged from here and there. Might be able to upgrade a few of your systems and initiate some repairs so that you don't get completely blown out, but they're not going to be ready right away. Well, if this meaning is what you say it is, we're only going to be doing some reconnaissance. We shouldn't have to deal with any direct combat. I think that we can safely survive until after this meeting. Maybe that'll give you enough time to get things done. Yeah, that should be enough. You mentioned you had a chief engineer on board? Yes, that's right. I'll have them beam down. Bradford taps his comm badge. Bradford DeJow. We've met with the Maquis. Initially hostile, but it looks like they were the ones who sent the signal. We were right. It sounds like there's going to be a meeting of the True Way, this time in Breen space. They think we won't interfere there. They have some potential upgrades and work-ons for the ship that might help us out. Can you come? I want you to beam down here and investigate what they have, see how well it'll work with the ship. The rest of us are going to go investigate this meeting, and we'll pick you up when we come back with to pick up the technology. Bradford out.
See, Cadet. Everything went according to plan.
Jack says as he taps him on the back.
Yes, sir.
Well, minus temporary shooting at each other, but yes, that did go pretty
That was the
smoothly.
best part.
So, what's the brain?
It's
Oh.
what you put hot dogs in.
I was gonna think it's something to do with brains or floating brain people or something, because that's
Not,
the word.
not exactly, Miss Needham. The Breen, Breen, are another race that we are not known to have peaceful relations with. We don't really know much about them. They're a very mysterious race. We've only encountered them a few times. All we really know is that they use a type of disruptor that's generally considered outlawed because of its effects, and that they're all known to wear very special suits that they have never been known to remove in public, or at least within view of any other race. Their helmets have a snout, so some theorize they might be a canine-like race, while others theorize that the suit provides refrigeration. Hence why, in the last meeting, the Cardassians initiated the freezing on that base. They probably didn't realize that the Breen had refrigeration in their suits, assuming that's even true. There's so little information on them that a lot of it's hearsay. But the only thing you need to know is that they're manipulative, they don't like us, and if they're involved with the True Way, it could be bad news. They were allied with our enemies in the last war that we fought, a group called the Dominion. They allied with them, and let's just say it didn't help matters any.
So they could be floating brains in refrigeration jars, and we just don't know it yet.
It's possible. They're generally wearing bipedal suits, so they generally have a humanoid appearance, minus the snout on the mask. But yes, anything could be under there. We don't really know. The entire thing could be a facade just to look like a general bipedal race, like most of the others in the Milky Way galaxy.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sadly, not all races out there are as good as the Gorn.
And we are glad that the Gorn hegemony finally realized that an alliance with the Federation was going to be more beneficial than being out there on their own and potentially falling victim to some of these other powers we're dealing with.
Hey, don't word it that way. We didn't go to you because we needed help. We went with you because you don't want to go against the Gorn.
I believe
We're
that to be
helping
more
you.
accurate.
That is entirely true. In a war with you, we wouldn't want to have to deal with that. At any rate, all right. Q returns, having walked away previously. Your engineer's down. He's taking a look at our equipment. Here are the coordinates for that meeting. Good luck. Thanks. We'll be back.
Thank you.
All right. Let's head back to the ship and we'll see what's going on.
Okay.
Bradford punches a few coordinates on his wrist tricorder, and the crew is beamed out, arriving back on the transporter pad aboard the ship. All right, let's get to the bridge.
Well, that was fun.
Well, the fun's not over yet, if you can call it that.
It still tingles. It's weird.
It takes a little getting used to. The crew heads to the turbolift and re-arrives on the bridge. Mr. Clinton, enter those coordinates that Mr. Key gave us.
Yes, sir.
Let's
Entering
be
coordinates, sir.
Let's be careful. We're entering Breen space. Lay in a course to the coordinates. Warp us to the edge of Breen space. When we arrive, drop us to impulse and engage the cloak. Disguise us as some type of low-class Breen vessel. See what Zhao has in the collection of possible holograms. That should keep us unseen, at least for the duration of the meeting. They shouldn't suspect us if they think we're one of their own.
Aye, aye, sir.
You hear that, Mr. Jackson? When we reach Breen space, he's going to disengage, and we're going to engage the hollow cloak.
Perfect.
Indeed. The ship takes off at warp, headed toward the edge of Breen space, toward the coordinates of the reported meeting between the True Way sect of Cardassia and the Breen. As the next scene picks up, the ship, as expected, reaches the edge of Breen space, drops to full impulse speed, and engages the hollow cloak to disguise it as a small Breen freighter in order to throw off suspicion. The freighter slowly makes its way to the reported coordinates, a small starbase orbiting a moon in what seems to be a generally uninhabited system. All right, well, we're here. I suppose the only way this is going to work is if we beam down again. It's only going to be the four of us this time with Commander Zhao back with the Maquis, so we're going to have to be extra careful. This could be potentially dangerous. Mr. McClinton, Mr. Jax, make sure the phasers are set on the highest possible stun setting. If we're dealing with Breen, we don't really know their physiology. A low setting might not be enough to take them down.
Why not set to kill?
Because we don't exactly know everything that's going on here, and we don't want to start killing people unnecessarily. We're still obeying the tenets of the Federation here.
Maybe you don't want to kill people unnecessarily.
Mr. Jax, you signed up for the Federation and agreed as part of this program that you were going to follow our tenets. I understand the hegemony has less of a compunction about killing mercilessly, but
we're rogue.
We're rogue, yes, but as I said, this is still a Federation Starfleet ship. We're just operating under my orders rather than those of Starfleet Command.
Also, I don't particularly want a weapon, but I don't want to die either. So, should I at least, I don't know, have a giant bat to hit someone over the head or something?
Your sexuality is your weapon.
I don't think that's gonna work if people there are anything like the guys on Earth. They'd be like,
just fire your vagina cannon like Gorn women.
If that's how they do it, that's a very interesting species, and I do want to know more. But still, I don't know, I just feel like I'm completely vulnerable.
Alright. I mean, I don't know if you feel comfortable firing a phaser. It's effectively a high-powered, I think they called them lasers back in your day. If you're comfortable firing one, I can equip you with one. If not, I have an alternate idea.
I'd go for the alternate idea just because I imagine I'd actually shoot somebody. I was thinking more like a blunt melee weapon or something.
I apologized for that.
What? You didn't do anything wrong.
Huh?
Nothing, sir.
You okay, buddy?
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
Okay.
It's okay, Cadet. Water under the bridge.
At any rate, OG, melee items are not exactly common in this day and age, but I do have one other idea. Bradford steps over to a side panel and pulls out something else from the same area where he pulled the med kit earlier. He pulls out a small device and presses a couple of buttons on it. Yeah, that should be enough. That might work. Now, I suppose if we're going to have you here, we might as well at least start with a little bit of how future medicine works. This device is what we call a hypospray. Effectively, you press it to someone's neck and hit the button on the back, and it injects something into their bloodstream. What that something is dependent on how you program it. I programmed it with a sedative, so if anyone comes near you, all you have to do is dodge them and press that anywhere into their skin and hit the button, and within a moment or two, they should be rendered unconscious.
Like pepper spray, except for your whole body.
Effectively, yes.
Cool.
Yeah. We use hyposprays for a variety of medicine in the future, as it's the easiest way to get necessary medicines into the bloodstream, whether that be something to reduce some kind of swelling, whether it be a coagulant, whatever. It's one of the most common tools of medicine here in the 24th century.
24th century. Huh, okay.
I know. It sounds strange saying that, but you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
It's even weirder seeing that 24th century Fox logo.
Really? They're still around? I knew it.
Well, one thing that doesn't change is that people still enjoy broadcasts now and again to get them away from everyday life,
I know I'd be a mess without my soaps.
Is Netflix still around?
I'm not sure. We'll look into that when we get back to Earth later. Remember, as I mentioned,
Is that like cornflakes?
probably. Yeah, you have to remember, in this day and age, with the lack of anybody needing for money and effectively, working for the betterment, most people have, everything that they need, so there's really no need for companies like that because all broadcasts and things are free. So, makes it a lot easier.
But then people can choose to do what they pursue. So I imagine like actors or whatever would.
Yes, like I said, there are still broadcasts. It's just that there isn't a need for companies like Netflix because all the broadcasts are just given for free, so they don't have to be compiled and sold. They're just freely available for everybody.
All right.
Yeah. I'll explain more when we get back to Earth inevitably, or you can always look it up in the database
You are
later.
just a walking encyclopedia, are you? I think in another life you could have been a librarian, just cataloging information.
I'll take that as a compliment.
What's a librarian?
Someone who, does stuff with books when they don't have a real job. I don't know.
What's a book?
Yeah.
It's like paper with information on it that you read because we don't have digital. Well, you could get the digital stuff, but it was too expensive. I'm poor, so I just had paper books with information written on it.
I know the Gorn have mostly moved everything over to digital, but among many members of the Federation, we still prefer a paper book now and again. Although most classic tomes and things that have been recorded are available on. It's a pad. I believe it's not too different from an iPad that you knew in your time. The technology has obviously advanced, but it's effectively the same concept.
I always use my Gorn pad.
Indeed. All right, let's get down here and see what's going on.
Is there a Gorn store like the iStore or the iPhone Apple Store?
On Planet Gorn, every Gorn shop is a Gorn store.
Interesting.
Fact.
If I didn't know better and was aware that all that is true, Mr. Jax, I would say you're parodying your race.
Nope. I just gave her a fact like you did.
Except used less words. You could take, advice from him and how to give advice.
I used less words and had a bigger penis, but besides that, same principle.
Well, of course you did. Have you compared your physical size to mine? You're a giant lizard man. Everything on you is bigger.
Thank you. Would it hurt you to say it once in a while?
Mr. Jax, you are aware of your physical prowess compared to the crew in terms of size and strength.
Yes, I'm what you would call an Adonis.
At any rate, let's get down there. The crew again heads back to the transporter room. Bradford again equipping his handheld transport tricorder, and they beam down to the meeting. All right, we need to stay quiet. According to my tricorder, there's a large room near the center of the base. That's probably where they're having the meeting. If we stay quiet, we can probably find an offshoot room where we can hear what's going on without them knowing we're here. The crew stealthily moves down the hallway and finds themselves a small room that overlooks the meeting hall where they can hear what's going on at the meeting. So they see the Cardassians are already in the room, and several Breen enter from a nearby door. The metal boots of their suits clanking on the floor as they walk. Clink, 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 clink. I am glad to see you chose to appear, Galtakad. Well, I am glad to see that at least you showed at this meeting as well. The last one, just one interference, and you chose not to even come and reschedule it on your terrain. I would take that personally were it not for the fact that the base got compromised anyway, so there wasn't exactly another option. At any rate, we're here. So let's talk about what we came to speak about. Agreed. Our mutual enemies, the Federation, the Klingon Empire, and your supposed comrades in the Union. The Cardassian Union are not my comrades, I assure you. Once the True Way regains control, the Obsidian Order will rule the planet again, and we'll go back to the way things should be. Glad to hear it. Now, where are the others? I thought representatives from all of our parties were going to be at this meeting. I was under the same impression, but it seems some of them have chosen to be fashionably late. So much for this supposed Optimum Syndicate that we're forming. So optimum that nobody can even be bothered to show up on time. I am not a patient man to God. The Confederacy does not need this alliance. It is beneficial but not required. If our partners have chosen not to show, perhaps we should take that as a hint that this was a waste of our time. Now, let's not be hasty about this. I am sure that there is a legitimate reason why the others are running late. In fact, I heard from the Kinshaya just before we began engaged, and they were very nearly at the base. I'm sure they'll be arriving sooner or later. As the team continues overhearing this meeting between the Breen and the Cardassians, a door behind them. A door alarm goes off. What the? The door opens, and several members of the Holy Order of the Kinshaya step into the room. The Kinshaya, what? In the name of the Archbishop, stand there, vile sinners. Oh, crud. Jax, take him! Jax and Bradford leap up, tackling the Kinshaya to the ground, and they scatter out of the room as the Kinshaya try to get him and pick up their weapons. They begin firing as the team runs. Keep firing behind us! We've been spotted!
Yes, sir.
Jax keeps firing his gun. Boom, boom, boom.
I'm not a sinner. I went to church every Sunday.
Trust me, the Holy Order of the Kinshaya, anybody not one of them is a sinner. Their entire society is based on some obsessive religion. It's ridiculous.
It's what you had in your time called Scientology.
Oh, God.
That may be accurate. At any rate, their ranks are all based on religious positions and whatnot. I didn't think the Kinshaya were even involved. The Klingons wiped their homeworld out 3 years ago. I thought their military force was taken down. Apparently, well, we're allied with the Klingon Empire, so apparently they decided that taking on the Federation would be a good shot at the Klingon Empire too.
Well, looks like you don't know all the facts, and looks like they don't know Jax.
Jax fires his gun in a badass pose.
The blast hits one of the Kinshaya in the chest, sending him flying backward, head over heels on the ground. Nice shot. The team keeps running it. The team keeps trying to defend themselves, but as they run down the hallway, they run into several Cardassians and Breen coming from the opposite direction. Shit. The hell with this. Bradford hits his wrist device. The team beams out as both groups fire on the away team. As the team beams out, the blasts miss, and the groups end up hitting several of each other's members instead. Bah! Nice work, Takad. Shooting our own allies. Will you shut up? Thought Kalan. I did not ask. As the team rematerializes on the pad. Breathing heavily from the running and the struggle.
Oh, that was crazy.
That did not go well, but we did learn a couple of things. Apparently, whatever this group is, they're calling themselves the Optimum Syndicate. We'll have to research that. And it sounds...
You girl, are you guys okay?
I'm good. Thank you for caring.
Still here.
Cool.
Excellent. Good to keep tabs on your teammates, Jax. Nicely done. Now...
I figured, before we explain stuff to him, we should see if I'm alive.
Well, I didn't see anybody get hit, but that's a good idea. I tend to get caught up in situations in my leadership.
Don't worry, I got your back, Cap.
That's why back when I was first officer, back on the Sanzio, I was glad to have you aboard. Now I was pleased to find out you were assigned to this vessel as well.
Oh, you guys are besties!
This place is oddly home. And to be fair, Cap, you were the one who named me Jax.
Touche. Touche.
Oh, what was your name before that?
It was unpronounceable by your human tongue.
I believe that. I can't even pronounce the words that he says, let alone words in another language.
It was written in his person. Jax, Jax are his initials. It was written in his personnel file in such a way that I mistook that to be his actual name, and it took forever for him to actually speak up, and by that time the name had stuck, so we've just kept it since then.
I like it. It's me, Jax.
It is you.
Just simple to the point, Jax.
I like it.
The crew returned to the bridge. Alright, let's get out of here before... On the view screen, several spherical Kinshaya ships decloak. So 20 of the Kinshaya have cloaking technology.
Isn't this supposed to be like our thing? Like, like that nobody else got?
No, we have a cloak that allows us to look like other vessels, but standard cloaking that effectively renders a ship invisible are standard issue for several races in the galaxy.
Oh, I thought we were special.
Well, no, we are special in that we can make ourselves look like other ships. Nobody can do that. We can do that.
We're special, we're just not that special.
So do we still look like their ships? Like, do they know that we know that they're there, and they still think that we're them?
We still look like a Breen freighter, but given that we showed up and we beamed out and there's no other vessels in the area, they've probably figured out what we really are by now.
Yeah, that's the real question is, do they know that we know that they know that we know?
That's a good question. Somebody tried to start a fire on my bridge.
No, I was just super nervous, and I was like,
Sorry, sir. That was my tail.
Understood. At any rate,
it's really cramped in here.
Yes, given how tall you are, I can understand. This isn't exactly the ideal ship for a Gorn.
I always just tap, when I'm just nervous.
Yeah, but we got bigger concerns right now. If the Kinshaya have cloaking technology, that's a bad sign. There are only certain races that have cloaking technology, and as far as I know, the Kinshaya hadn't developed it, which means either A, they've somehow developed it now, or B, someone within their group is providing it. This could be even worse than we thought. How many races are in this thing? I mean, this could be a threat to the entire Federation, the entire Kinema Accords, for that matter. Is that an incoming hail, Cadet?
Yes, sir.
Put it on the screen.
On the screen now, sir.
This is Captain Charles Bradford. I suppose you figured this out by now. We do not care who you are. I am the bishop of this vessel, and you sinners are trespassing. I suggest you surrender yourselves and your vessel to us and our compatriots, or be destroyed. We're Starfleet. You should know by now that surrender really isn't in our vocabulary.
And also, if you're religious, shouldn't you be, like, for peace and stuff? Like, like, 'cause your God would want peace?
Yeah, if you want us, you're gonna have to go through him.
Jax lifts up the cadet and holds him up dramatically in front of him.
Put the cadet down, Lieutenant.
Fine.
Jax lowers him down safely.
If you want to take us, try.
Or, just saying, like, let us go and everything will be fine.
Yeah, you want some? Come get some. Apple dough.
I feel like that's a really overused reference to something, but I'm going to look it up later. At any rate, Cadet, cut the feed.
Hey, sir. Feed cut.
Good. Now, luckily, there is one thing we do know about the Kinshaya, and that's that, well, they are not exactly an unformidable force. They're not exactly on the level of some of the things we faced before. They're probably underestimating us. Well, we can't warp out of here like this anyway. Jax, drop the cloak.
Yes, sir.
Jax begins pushing the switches and pushing the button to drop the cloak.
All right. Shields up. We don't have torpedoes, so arm the phasers. If you fire a couple of shots across their bows, it should distract them long enough. Then hit the warp engines and let's get out of here, Cadet. They begin following orders as the phaser beams begin firing out the front of the vessel, hitting parts of the Kinshaya vessel of the Kinshaya vessels that cause them to spin out of control and move to the side. Yeah, the Kinshaya are a threat, but their spherical vessels are not exactly known for being sturdy. Get us out of here. Punch it.
Aye, aye, sir.
The Conquest jumps to warp and takes off, finding its way out of Breen space and back into Federation-controlled territory.
Well, that was something.
Now, I really hope they don't follow us, but the Breen, the Cardassians, and now the Kinshaya. This isn't going to end well.
We can do this.
I certainly hope so. What the? Oh boy. The Kinshaya are following us. Da-da-da-dun. 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 And that's the end of episode 2, The Frozen Light, Part 1. I just botched the ending. I apologize.
Oh, don't worry. This is far from the first recording you fucked up. And I don't think it'll be your last, so don't worry.
Challenge accepted?
Oh no, you were still the best one, Rick.
He's always the best one. I was following the plot out, and I forgot that Kinshaya was just supposed to decloak, and you were supposed to end it there. I was going to end with the threat from the Kinshaya, and then everybody kept talking, and I lost track of it, and yeah.
Well, if it helps, when we start up episode 3, you can just say previously and say you did that stuff.
Hmm.
At least my cats are now chilling and not like, oh, let's just use the chair you're sitting on as a scratching post constantly. At least they're like, tired now. So.
Well, it doesn't matter. We could say that we just barely made it toward the edge of Federation space before the Kinshaya surrounded us again, and we can proceed as planned. So.
Whoa, spoilers.
Well, the Kinshaya are following us. They're obviously going to catch up to us, so that's really not a spoiler.
Not necessarily. We could go to Hyper Mega EX Warp plus Alpha.
No.
Yes.
No, this isn't Star Wars where people make up speeds and use measures of distance for time.
Pretty sure it is, with them doing warp and all that other crap. I'm pretty sure they made up going warp speed, unless you can show me a car that goes warp speed.
Go to ludicrous speed!
Exactly. I know, look, here's a square spaceship, because that's how aerodynamics works.
Yeah. Alright, well, this has been episode 2, folks. Stay tuned to the Google Plus channel. In the next few minutes, there will be a posting for episode 3, and you can see the remainder
Episode
of...
3, Gone with the Wind.
No.
There's no wind in space, silly.
Solar wind.
There is solar wind. The cadet is correct.
What is that?
Okay, fine. Next one, I will be played by Eddie Murphy, and it will be called Episode 3, Gawning Places.
What? Is that a movie that
I don't get that reference either.
Yes.
I'll show you later.
Fair enough. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We'll see you for the next episode in just a little bit. Peace.